Tilghman, good to see you again.
Hey, it's good to see you again, Gail.
How is life? How are the Tillmans?
Oh, we're great. It's life. It's basically a frantic kind of circus all the time, and always has been and still is.
In the best way possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm not complaining at all.
Okay, so this is a big deal, by the way. I feel like we haven't made it as big of a deal as it could be. Your first album is coming out. Like, not only is it a Christmas album, but your first album is coming out on Friday.
Yeah. The first project I did that's bigger than just a single comes out Friday, the 10th of December. So I'm excited about it and nervous about it. You always wonder if anyone's even going to care. So, that's where I am with it.
But you know that people are going to care because you post something on YouTube or on social media and the world explodes. So
yeah. I mean, I'm all about it, and I like the interaction with all of those people as much as I can. Every now and then it gets overwhelming and it's hard to keep up with, But I just really appreciate all the people that are a part of it. So
okay, so why is your first album a Christmas album? Talk me through that process.
Well, I mean, there's really there's a lot to that actually, more than it might seem on the surface. First of all, I am still sort of in the process of putting together what I want this whole music thing to be, as far as, it's weird, but I'll say this. I don't know. I don't want to be confusing. So I'll say this. I've kind of reached a place musically where I'm like, you know what? I realize that, and I do try to take advice from people who know what they're doing, and so I don't want to pretend that I'm like, or say that I just ignore that. But I kind of got to this place where I'm like, you know what? I'm still independent, and so if I'm going to be independent, I might as well just do whatever I want to do instead of doing what I feel like I should do to get me to a certain end, and so that sort of switched around a little bit as far as what project I'm going to put out first. I'm working on some different things. Believe it or not, there's a song I did not write on at all. But everyone who hears the demo that I did of it says like, this is the song. And so I legitimately just got sort of clearance to go ahead with that because there was, I don't know. I don't know how much information I can give, but in the music world, there's just a lot of different things going on. So anyway, the reason that it's a Christmas album is because a non-Christmas album, I'm still not fully 100% sure what that looks like, I guess the answer that I want to give. And number two, I love Christmas and I love Christmas music and pretty much everything about Christmas. I understand there are parts of it that can be stressful, and I understand that it's a time of year that is tough for a lot of people. And so I try to be respectful of that, but I love it.
Yeah, I do too. So you have those beautiful classics like Silent Night and O Holy Night, which I'm so glad you did O Holy Night, by the way. I feel like anybody can do O Holy Night. It's Todd Tilghman. But then you have your original song. Give me the story behind Old Photos at Christmas Time.
Okay. Really, this is a super cool story. So I work with tons of different people. Thankfully, I'm blessed to work with tons of different people in tons of different capacities. And so basically, some of the guys I write with, Don Poitras and Tony Wood, I write with. I mean, I'm blessed to write with a lot of people, but me and Don and Tony do kind of write a lot together. I would say as far as like me writing with specific people, I probably write with them more, regularly than others. And so this is really a cool story. It really is. I was invited to sing a Christmas song on a whole other project. But that project, remarkably, I'm on this project with like Olivia Newton-John, and so like I was like, okay, sure. So I ended up singing on that project. I sang. Do you remember the song that's playing when Clark Griswold is stuck in the attic watching the old home videos? It's a Ray Charles song called "That Spirit of Christmas."
Yes.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So anyway, I covered that on that project. Well, the lady who who got me involved with that project, was texting me one morning. Well, let me back up before she texted me. So whenever I did this Christmas project, it literally was 4 songs. It was Silent Night, Oh Holy Night, The First Noel, and O Come Emmanuel. And so I was sitting in my recliner thinking to myself, what do I want to call this project? Because I'm just, and let me just say, I don't have any criticism for anybody. I'm not wagging my finger at anybody. I just feel like I can't pull it off being like Christmas with Todd Tilghman. You know what I mean? I just can't pull that. Yeah, like I just can't pull that off. And so I started thinking, I went through all kinds of different titles. I went through like Fresh Cut Christmas, Songs to Drink Eggnog By was one that I was thinking of, because I try to think of all the things that I think of at Christmas. But then, I don't know, it just sort of dawned on me with these 4 songs, it just, because we are planning on this being like a volume 1, and then next year do more. So it just sort of dawned on me that when I was a kid, it's really my entire childhood that I can remember, but especially after my grandmother passed away, who was really special to me and I was really close with her, every Christmas I would drag out all these photo albums and just sit and look at them. I would look at all the photos from the Christmases. I've got photos of me standing in front of my stocking with like E.T., a belt, like an E.T. belt sticking up out of it, because E.T. had just come out. I've got photos of me and my brother standing in front of the Christmas tree, crossing our lightsabers, but it was old Star Wars, like The Empire Strikes Back kind of stuff. And so I've got all those photos, but I also have all these photos of our family, and you see the room and it looks like chaos, but it's literally like, and as a kid, you don't know how much stress and pressure there can be surrounding Christmas time. But even as an adult, looking back, you can see that after that day and that time, all of the stress and pressure just kind of goes away, and we're just enjoying, even though it's nuts. There's everywhere and toys and stuff strewn everywhere, everyone's just enjoying it. And so I thought, I'm going to call this Old Photos at Christmas Time, because that's what I like to do. And it's my EP, And so I named it that. Then fast forward to my friend who was the reason that I was on this other project. She reached out. She texted me because she had heard about the EP. I think it may have been after I sent an email out. And she says, you need to write a Christmas song with Don and Tony. And I thought, holy crap, I'm writing with Don and Tony today. And I hadn't told her that. This was like first thing in the morning, And so I was like, wow, that's weird. So anyway, I go in and we're just chatting about the EP, and we're chatting about, and again, let me just say too, the EP was not like signed, sealed, and delivered, but it was done as far as like, the vocals were done, the tracking was done. We still had some tweaking and mastering and stuff to do, but it was done, This was on a Thursday. So we start having this conversation, and I literally started talking about real old photos that I have that I look at, of me sitting with my grandma at Christmas time, and pictures of us wearing like bathrobes and towels on our heads to be the shepherds, you know what I mean? In the Christmas pageant, and then our Christmas parades where, the tinsel candy canes are sort of attached to the side of the light poles, and we just started talking about that. And before you know it, this Thursday, we wrote Old Photos at Christmas Time.
Wow.
So I reached out to the guy that was helping me produce. His name's Justin, and he kind of came in clutch because, when you work in Nashville, people are covered up, so he kind of came in clutch for me. And so I said to him, I realize I'm going to send you this work tape. I realize that it's too late for this project, but we did say that we want to do a volume 2, volume 3 even, hopefully, heck, as far as Christmas goes, I can do volumes up to 100. It's fine with me. I love Christmas music. So he reached back out and he said, I feel like if you want to get this done for this project, I think we could probably swing it. And it did help that it was really important to me in the beginning for two reasons. Number one, because it's what I wanted. It was my wish. But number two, I felt like it was the right way to go,
Mm-hmm.
that I asked that this whole project be underproduced, if anything, but certainly not overproduced.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be kind of homey um, so anyway, long story short, we wrote old photos at Christmas time on Thursday, and I think it was maybe Monday. I was laying the vocal for it, sitting right here in this room where I'm talking to you right now.
Wow.
I was laying the vocals for it, and so it made it. So it's on there.
So what's your level of excitement versus nerves now that this music is about to be shared with the world?
Oh, I want to say just in this moment, now it could change in 20 minutes. So, so you know how that is. I'm an overthinker, but in this moment, I'm really excited about it because I will say, live, I've sent the project to a couple of people, and then I've done the live show, which is like a really laid back, almost like a living room experience. I just tell stories and I make jokes and we have a fun time, but I also share my heart and about even old photos, even the song. And so between the people that I've sent this to and the live performances, I feel like Don and Tony really more than me. Let me just say, I feel like did a really good job. I think the song is, especially that song, I think it's reaching people, and I think it's mattering to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say in this moment, I'm probably more excited than I am nervous, because just because of the response that I've gotten from all the songs, but especially that original. So
that's a good one. Okay, so as the father of 8 kids, what's Christmas like in the Tilghman household? That's a lot of presents to buy, Todd.
Yeah, well, we have always have been blessed to be able to provide, some Christmas for our kids and have a good Christmas. But we've also, I don't want to say since the beginning, but I will say since our oldest son was maybe 3 or 4, and we kind of started realizing that we can't really settle into this super duper Christmas, we have to be a little more thrifty. We've kind of just tried to keep it fairly simple. And I realize that's sort of objective. There's lots of different people that could say, well, my Christmas is way more simple than that. You know what I mean? But to us, we just try to keep it fairly simple. Christmas at my house is really, in my own personal household. We do Christmas with all the family and all too, but like in my own personal household, it's really, every Christmas Eve, we sit down together and we spend time with one another, and we read the night before Christmas, and we also read the story, that what Christmas really is about, the story of the birth of Jesus. And I usually let the kids kind of read that, but I try my best to sort of elaborate on what really did happen and how precious and special it really was, that God could have sent anything. He could have sent a dictator or a judge, but he knew we needed a savior, and so that's what he sent. He sent us a savior, and his own son as our savior, and so we do that. And we also, in between those two, we read this little book called Room for a Little One, which I don't know why I always get really emotional while we're reading it. And it's a children's book, and it's basically, it's about the stable where Jesus was born, and it's basically about an ox that just welcomes all these other animals into the stable so that they'll have a place for the night. And the theme is there's always room here. There's room here. There's room here for you, and then ultimately, a donkey comes up. The only difference with the donkey and the other animals is the donkey has Mary on his back, and Mary is carrying Jesus,
Wow.
and so we read that, and then we spend some time together. We open a couple of presents here and there, but Christmas at my house, I want to say that it's probably less chaotic than people might think. But then on the other hand, there are moments of just sheer chaos. so I don't know really how to answer that. It's it's good. You know, my oldest son doesn't live at home anymore, but he's flying in, and he'll be here, and we're going to spend Christmas morning, Christmas Eve. Actually, I have a show on Christmas Eve, but we're going to spend we'll spend the later part of Christmas Eve and Christmas morning here at home in Tennessee, and then we'll load up and go down to Mississippi to see the extended family for the next few days, and so it's, I don't know. I think Christmas is what we make of it, whether we have a lot or whether we have a little, and so we really try very hard to sort of celebrate the essence of it more than the stuff, you know, like our Christmas tree, man. I said this in a couple of these shows. I have some of the ornaments on my tree are just as ugly as sin, just terrible. But my kids made them though, you know? And so they're staying until they just rot or fall to pieces. And some of them are falling to pieces, but they still make the tree. They're still, they're still on, you know? And so I don't know. It's just really special to us that we celebrate sort of the essence of what it is.
Awesome. Okay, before I let you go, what else is happening with music? You talked about some new music. You were talking about maybe a collaboration and releasing some other stuff. Tell me it all.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say I have a collaboration coming out. I'm going to be announcing probably in the next couple of days. Actually, the first one, I have a collaboration coming out. The first one is no one has really known anything about yet, so I haven't announced it. The other one, I have sort of announced it, so I guess I can say that in the first part of the year, I'm releasing "Love Me" as a duet with Colin Ray, the original "Love Me." You know, and I had a meeting with him, and I was like, and Colin, let me say, is just really so nice. Yep. Yeah. Like so, and so he's so nice that we sort of were immediately friends. And so, which means we were sort of like immediately deep into just conversation. And so I just stopped him. I was like, listen, because we had dinner. Well, it was kind of an early dinner, but I said, listen, we can talk all afternoon. This is all I have today. All I have in the afternoon. I said, but before we do that, the reason that I asked you to meet with me is because I would love to get with you, not do it on my own, but you and I together cut one of your classics like Little Rock or Not That Different or That Was a River or any of them. I didn't say "Love Me" in that moment because I knew I'd cut it on the show and all, and I didn't know, you know, if we should do something different or what. But he spoke up and said, well, you know, we've been talking about something special to do for the 30th anniversary for Love Me, and I feel like this would be perfect. And so anyway, he and I are cutting Love Me for first part of the year together, and we're going to hopefully that can be a thing. Then I have a few other things going on. I just today, I mean, when I say I'm texting, I don't want to come across like, look how cool I am.
But you are cool, let's be honest.
It was, you know, it was very brief, but there's still a very good possibility that Blake and I are going to collab on something. He and I just talked a little earlier today. So it's just keep praying. I mean, he's very favorable to it, but you know, Blake is literally, to quote Dolly Parton, Blake is literally busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. He really is. And, you know, and so it's, I love Blake, and I feel like he would do it. He's actually very favorable to it. He's just so busy, you know, and also understand he's not the thing that I do have, I guess, in a way going for me, in a way, it depends on how you look at it, that he doesn't, is that he is with a label. And I imagine there's a lot of approvals that have to take place. If I want to cut a song, I can just cut it, you know. Right. I just go out there and do it. So that's happening. I'm talking, and we're still in the early stages of it, even though we know what we're going to do and when we can figure it out. We don't, when I say early stages, what I mean is we haven't planned a date, we haven't tracked it or anything, but I'm going to do I'm going to release a collaboration with Thunderstorm from season 18 that was on the show with me. And so we're going to do that. And so, among other things, all that stuff, I'm telling you, I am working so hard.
No kidding. So there will be another album coming from you at some point in 2022.
Oh, yeah. And I'm trying to decide how to do it, because nowadays with the way streaming and all works, a lot of people are like, do single. So I don't know really exactly how it'll come together, to tell you the truth. You know, there's so many voices about how to do it. that what God is doing for me right now, and thankfully He is, because I don't know a lot. I know how to show up, and I know how to sing, and that's all I got, you know. And so what God's doing for me now, though, is he's sort of shaking the pieces into place. You know how it is. You kind of knock it down, and then everything eventually settles where it's supposed to be. And it's taken some time, but he's doing that for me. And so hopefully I have all the right pieces in place and the right people in place, so that when it does come time for these things to come out, like I know the collab in January, that's going to be a single. I know the one with Colin will be a single, you know, something that I just put out on its own. But ultimately, I'm not 100% sure about the rest, but I will say I feel like God's sort of helping me get all that in the right order, with the right people and the right timing and the right songs. You know, one of the songs that I literally just found out yesterday, that one of the songs I've been pushing really hard for, but there was some iffiness about it, you know. It looks like I'm going to be able to sort of start moving forward on it. And to me, it's a big deal. And so, you know, I said all that to say, I don't know if it will be an album or if it'll just be a whole buttload of singles, you know.
All right. Well, we'll take whatever we can get from you, Todd.
Yeah. Well, I'm just so glad that people listen. It just, honestly, I just appreciate all of y'all so much. You especially, you are always on it. If I do anything, you're on it. And so thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. Part of why I love what I do and love working for myself, like you said, being independent, is I can write about whatever I want.
Yeah,
Love supporting good people like you and Jake. I just love supporting you guys because.
Yeah, I love Jake, man. We actually had a thing today, but you know, Jake's kind of big time. He's got the tenors down with him, so we had to postpone it. But it was good because I was kind of, first of all, I was kind of beat. I've had a lot going on. I haven't been able to spend much time with my kids, and so we kind of got to hang out earlier and make, you know, cut out snowflakes out of paper and just spend the day together. So me and Jake, we can reschedule.
Well, it's good to see you, my friend. If I don't talk to you again,
You too.
Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas to y'all. Tell your whole family I said so.